part 6 of my craft room makeover. Now today, finally, we're going to be fitting the piece of worktop along the top of the desks. Now the worktop arrived last week, and you may have seen the photos that I posted here on YouTube. It actually arrived damaged, so after 6 weeks of waiting, it turns up and it's got a dent along the front edge, and also a piece of the strip along the side has started to peel off. So I got in touch with the company, Savoy Timber, and I said it's arrived but it's damaged, and they said very sorry, we'll get you a new piece delivered, we'll send it out on Monday. So it got to Tuesday morning and I hadn't heard anything from them, so I got in touch and I said, can you confirm that the worktop will be with me today? And they said, very sorry, but that size is actually out of stock. So to cut a long story short, lots of emails went back and forth, and in the end they did actually refund me in full for the piece of worktop and have said that I can keep it. To be honest with you, I would have rather paid for what I ordered and got the worktop with the edging strip as advertised on eBay and without the damage, but as it is, I've now got a piece of worktop. Matt thinks he may be able to repair the damage. Unfortunately, it's going to be right along the front edge where I sit. It's not too bad, but it's just a shame because the craft room's looking so nice now, and this is sort of like the final bit which I've really been looking forward to putting into place, and it's damaged, but we'll see what it looks like when it's in place. The good thing about it is that the full length of the worktop is 2 meters, and you had a choice of lengths that you could have it cut to. Now 2 meters would have been just too long, so I went down to the 1800. But actually I've got room along here to fit a piece of 1900 long, so I can have even extra workspace along there. So that's one good thing to come out of it. But let me start just by showing you the damaged area. So this is the damaged area. It's about as big as my finger, so I mean, coming back to it now, it's not that bad, but it's really just the positioning, because it is really sort of right in the middle and going to be right where I sit. And it looks as though it may, if I keep touching it, it might just all sort of peel apart. It's just lots of little bits. Obviously the chipboard is dented and then the paint has cracked. The mark there as well, but I'm sure that will come off. So a little bit annoying, but hopefully Matt will be able to do some sort of repair job. He's normally quite good at repairing things like that. So the first thing to do is to get the room emptied out again, and then we can get the worktop cut to length. Everything emptied out, and I'm just going to give the work surface a good clean. Okay.
This on top for now. And we have to measure. You're not going to take that much off, really.
That's not quite straight. So just inside, so 1/9. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere.
I was just thinking, what's that going to be like coming into the room? It'll be alright though, because it'll be tucked.
Yeah, it's going to be back here.
Yeah. Move that along to the middle. Okay, so we've laid the worktop on where it will actually sit, but obviously pulled forward. And then I'm actually going to go as far as I can along here, and it's about 1 inch before the bookcase begins, so that will give me the maximum amount of workspace. So we've put some masking tape, a couple of strips of masking tape along where we want to cut. And because this is sort of made of a sort of chipboard, that should prevent it from splitting the chipboard. So I've carried the line here over the front, and Matt's actually going to do the cutting, because you know I don't like using power tools. And we're going to do it in here because this worktop is actually so big it's really difficult to get through into the garden. We had real difficulty getting it indoors, having to sort of work out various angles. So this is actually now at 1950, this line. So 1800 would have been back here. So that's given me a good, 6 inches extra of workspace. And I'm going to be able to push that little drawer unit I've got right back into this corner and have where I've sort of having my desk tidy at the side of my cutting mat. I'll be able to have it stood behind, so that will be a lot of extra space at the side as well. I don't know about you, but I don't like feeling that there's sort of things all around me when I'm trying to work. I like to have a nice clear area. Okay, so Matt's just gone down to the workshop to get the saw. So it's going to create quite a bit of dust, but I can have a vac round once it's all done. And I'm really looking forward to getting that in. It's going to really make a difference to the amount of workspace that I've got.
I'm going to try and use a high-speed steel blade instead of the actual wood saw blade, because I think it may break some of the laminate off. So I'm going to try and use a finer blade, and hopefully it should get a nicer cut and not chip any of the laminate. But we've got tape on there as well, so hopefully that'll stop it from chipping.
Okay, so we're plugged in.
We'll see if this saw blade works. So I'm hoping it's going to be finer than the wood one.
So that masking tape worked, and that's a nice clean cut along there now. Now, it was advertised that there would be free edging strip with the worktop, and I think that was going to be that sort of iron-on stuff. But Matt's actually just ordered me a metal strip, which will be a bit more hard wearing. So a nice white metal strip that will then screw into the end there and hide the chipboard. So we've just pushed the worktop roughly into place, and we're going to make a cut for these wires. So I'm just going to make a pencil mark here of where we need to make the cut. I'll go in a bit like that. It doesn't need to be as wide as that. And then like that. And then Matt can cut a little section out there. And I've actually got some trunking to go around those as well, which will fit once this is in place. Okay, so that's the little cutout there for the wires, and this is the trunking that I've got, and it's just like a sort of tube, and it comes with like a little tool that looks a bit like a butterfly clip. Any of you that used to wear those in the 80s will know what I'm talking about, but actually you can just pull it apart and fit it around the wires. That's what I'm going to do now. So that just hides all those wires away nice and neatly in there, and then that will tuck into that little cutout there. Okay, so we're happy now with the position of the worktop. There's a little bit of gapping along that wall, but that's because the wall isn't straight, because that end of the worktop is straight. And then Matt's here just marking up the drill so that it doesn't go too far through. And we've got screws that only come probably to about there, don't they? So here we go. So there is the worktop in place, and that's nice and secure. Matt's used 6 screws in there, but it's so heavy anyway, it would take a lot to actually move that. And yeah, it looks good. I just need to give it a clean now. There's a few marks on there from the saw. And then I'll have another vacuum clean, and then I can start putting everything back in. Just look at all that lovely room I've got along there now. Seems that there's more room than I sort of imagined it to have, and that extra bit of worktop has really helped. So I've just sort of changed things around here on the top. I've moved my books over to that corner there. That drawer unit has pushed right back against that wall, so that's nice and sturdy now. My lamp, which I won't be able to have plugged in permanently because the sort of socket is down there behind the TV, and I don't really use that until winter anyway, when the afternoons start getting darker. That makes more sense being that side, shining onto the mat from that angle. And then I've been able to move my desk tidy right back, giving me all of this room at the side. I wouldn't usually have these here, that's just for dressing, but I can then put my cutting list book here and have it open flat. And then I've got all this really lovely room at the side here, so when I sort of take one of these boxes and I'm working with my spare pieces of wood out of there, I can have that open on the side. So it really is so much better. And then there's the little sort of lip I told you about, which isn't too much of a problem. And then I've got all this lovely extra space along here where I can put the sort of current projects, things when the paint's drying. So let me just tuck that chair back in, and I'm just going to show you from sort of my line of vision how much roomier that feels. I do want to get some sort of holder for the kitchen towel. Looks a bit odd just stuck there like that. Maybe just one of those chrome ones that you'd use in the kitchen. Just like a sort of chrome spike or something like that. But yeah, overall really pleased. There's the little dent, and right sort of in my work area as well. So if that had have been anywhere else or along the other side, it wouldn't have mattered too much. But to be honest with you, I mean, this is probably going to get knocked about anyway as I'm working on it. In the scheme of things, it's not too much of a problem. I'm just hoping I don't sort of knock any of the white, what is it, laminate or whatever it is on there off, because that wouldn't look very nice as sort of a chipboard hole. So hopefully Matt will be able to find some stuff to repair that. So I also got my new waste paper bin in the cerise pink accent colour. So that all matches nicely. So now I don't have to keep pinching the one out of the bathroom. And the other thing I've bought is this drawer organiser. So it's like a set of separate trays, and the overall width and depth will fit inside the drawer, but you can then organise them however you like. And this is for the top drawer of my tool storage unit, where I've got all of those loose paintbrushes, if you remember. So I want to try and do something in there now. So it also comes with these little sticky pads which will go on the bottom to hold them in place. But let's first of all get them into place in the drawer. So let's empty these out. And when I was thinking about it, because obviously that's going to be the one for the paintbrushes, I probably use not even 10% of these brushes. So I'm going to take out the ones that I use on a regular basis, which is probably about 5 or 6 of the smaller sized brushes, and then I'm going to store the rest in my cabinet, which is underneath the doll's house. So let's empty this out, and I'm just going to put back in the things that I really do use. I'll keep those little gel packets to go back in. So this bigger one here I'll have for my clamps. So they fit nicely in there, and I like them being in that corner of the drawer, because when I'm sitting at my desk I just pull open that top drawer and then I just reach in there for the clamps as I'm working. So let's put a couple of those little sachets back in, and these are the little silica gel sachets which keep things from getting damp. So put those in there, and then this one will be for the brushes. Now I definitely use that one a lot, that's for getting rid of the dust when I've sanded, so that can go in there. And then let me just pull out these ones that I like to use. I'll keep my detailing brushes to hand as well. I like this sort of size. It's about 6mm or 1/4 of an inch, and for painting furniture that's the size I like to use. And then the detailing brush is obviously for the smaller jobs. And then, you know, when I do something where I need a slightly bigger brush, I can just go into my cupboard and find something, but like I say, I don't use those on a regular basis. So, and these elastic bands as well I've used to separate them into sizes, but over time I've just sort of stuck them back anywhere. So I'll put those in the plastic tub, and they can then go in the cupboard in that. Just put that over there. I've got a couple of spare steel rules here, but they've gone rusty, and I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but over time, and I'm talking a long time, the rule starts to dip, and the best way to check if your rule is starting to curve, because you can't really see from looking at it, is to line it up on a line on your cutting mat, and you'll see what I mean. So though it, you know, mine happened probably after quite a few years, you know, 5-7 years or something like that, and then I noticed that it was actually going. In fact, if I lay those two together, can you see that gap in the middle? So that's where that bottom one has started to curve inwards where I've cut against it. So always do check that. So I really don't need to keep these. I don't know why I'm keeping them. And even as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, well, I won't throw them away. I'll just put them in that other cupboard. I find it quite hard to throw things away. I want to keep these little glue spreaders. So I've got this sort of medium-sized pot there, so that can go in there. These wire brushes as well, I'm not going to put those in with the paint brushes, and when you go into your drawer, these wire brushes are quite dangerous if you sort of get them into your nail. I've done that so many times and it's so painful. So keep those sort of tucked out of the way. And then I've got so many paint stirrers here. I was trying to look for my other brushes, but they're actually in my pot drying because I was using them yesterday. So that's those. And that's about all I use on a regular basis. There's probably about 9 there. So the rest can go in that other drawer. And then there are a few things here that I want to keep in here. My compass. I've put a gold pen in there, some paint stirrers, wood finish stain marker, that comes in handy if you chip a little bit of wood or something. That's a good way of touching it back in. My spare knife handle. I don't know why I've got a permanent marker in there. My little coving check template when I'm cutting coving. I'll put those toothbrushes at the back. They're good for texturing paint and things like that when you're trying to age paint or something. That's quite a nice brush. Put that back there and that one. And then all of the rest of them can actually go in that other cupboard. That's quite a handy little tweezer with a magnifying glass on the end. Put that in there. I've probably kept that for texturing, so I'll pop that in there seeing as I've got room. And then I've got some wire here, and that can go in one of those. That's quite nice. I'll put those at the back there. Again, I've got so many paint stirrers here. Do I really need all of those? I'll just lay them in there for now. I'll get rid of that long one, seeing as it doesn't fit anymore. And then I've got my mixing spoons, which I can just stand in there. Another wire brush there. That's a scribe, so that can stay in there. And the rest of these brushes I'll put in that other pot. I've got my safety glasses and masks. Probably should put those in my handbag, the way things are going at the moment. And then some more wire, which I can just stand in there. So that's so much neater. I'm really pleased with these little trays. In fact, I'm thinking of getting another set for my makeup drawer. So at the moment I've just got sort of one basket in there and everything just gets all mixed up. So that would be really handy for a makeup drawer as well. And I got those from Amazon. I can't remember the name of them now. Lily Things, I think it's called. And I think they were around, oh, again, I can't remember. I should have looked up the price before I'm saying it, but I'm thinking around £10 to £12. But it's really sort of sturdy plastic as well, really hard plastic. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So I've got little feet to add on. Don't know if I'll use those or not. I think everything's fairly sturdy in there. That's another little job done. So let's put that back in the unit and I'll go and get rid of this box of other bits. Okay, so that's it for today. It feels as though it's been a bit of a quick episode, but the object really was just to get this worktop in place, and I'm really delighted with it. It's given me so much more workspace there. Now, the only other thing I want to do in here is to spray paint that little drawer unit. I've spoken to you about that before, so I want to spray paint that white, and then all of those drawers need sorting out. So we'll do that together as well. And I really hope you've enjoyed this episode and this series. Do let me know what you think of the craft room in the comments section below. Now, over the next couple of days I'll be recording for my Doll's House Diary, and I'm going to be making a start in the bedroom. I was waiting for some fabric, but that has now arrived, along with some lovely paint. And don't forget to go and have a look at my Patreon page as well, which you might be interested in. You can now join me from just $1 a month, that's about 80p, and for that you'll get a monthly vlog where I talk about all things related to the Doll's House hobby. And there are 4 tiers on there now, so you can also watch me build the 1/12 scale shop, which was in here at the start of the episode. But that really is it for today, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!